Imagine a vast, windswept desert, an endless expanse of sand and rock under a scorching sun. Here, a newly freed nation, numbering in the millions, wandered without a permanent home. Amidst this raw, untamed landscape, God issued an extraordinary command to Moses. Build a sacred tent, a portable sanctuary meticulously designed down to the finest thread. This wasn't just any tent. It was to be the Tabernacle, a dwelling place for the divine amidst human frailty, a seemingly simple structure that held the most profound mysteries of faith and salvation. The instructions Moses received for constructing this desert sanctuary were astonishingly precise, detailing every beam, curtain, and utensil. Why did God care so much about a tent in the desert? Why did the divine architect provide such an elaborate, boring construction manual for what appeared to be a temporary structure? The answer lies in the deep, intricate symbolism woven into every aspect of the tabernacle, turning what might seem like a mundane blueprint into a treasure map of theological truth. At its core, the tabernacle was God's solution to a fundamental problem. How could a holy God dwell among an unholy people? The structure served as a tangible representation of His presence, a constant reminder to the Israelites that their God was not distant, but intimately involved in their journey. It was a physical manifestation of a spiritual truth designed to teach them about His character, their sin, and the path to reconciliation. The tabernacle was divided into 3 distinct areas, each progressively holier than the last, guiding the worshiper closer to God's presence. The outermost section was the courtyard, a large open space enclosed by linen curtains hung on bronze pillars. This area was accessible to all Israelites, a space for the community to gather and witness the rituals of atonement. It was here that the initial steps toward approaching a holy God were taken. Within the courtyard stood the brazen altar, a formidable structure of acacia wood overlaid with bronze. Upon this altar, animal sacrifices were offered daily, their smoke ascending to the heavens. This was the first and most crucial point of interaction, symbolizing the absolute necessity of atonement for sin. Without the shedding of blood, there could be no forgiveness, a stark lesson impressed upon every Israelite who brought an offering. Adjacent to the brazen altar was the laver, a large bronze basin filled with water. Priests would wash their hands and feet here before entering the inner sanctuary, a ritual signifying purification. This act underscored the need for ceremonial cleansing and moral purity before drawing nearer to God's holy presence, emphasizing that even those who served Him required constant sanctification. Beyond the courtyard, separated by an intricately woven curtain, was the holy place. Only priests were permitted to enter this sacred space, performing daily duties that maintained the spiritual connection between God and His people. It was a dimly lit, enclosed area, designed to evoke reverence and a heightened sense of God's majesty, further establishing the graded access to divine holiness. Inside the holy place, 3 significant pieces of furniture resided. To the left, a magnificent golden menorah, or lampstand, cast its 7-branched light. This perpetual light symbolized God's constant presence, His divine guidance, and His role as the light of the world, illuminating the path for His chosen people even in the spiritual darkness of their desert wanderings. On the right stood the table of showbread, upon which 12 loaves of unleavened bread were continually displayed, representing the 12 tribes of Israel. This symbolized God's provision and His covenant relationship, signifying that He sustained His people both physically and spiritually. The bread, renewed weekly, was a tangible reminder of His faithfulness to nourish them. Directly before the veil separating the holy place from the most holy place stood the golden altar of incense. Here, fragrant incense was burned morning and evening, its sweet aroma ascending before God. This act symbolized the prayers of the saints rising to God, a continuous intercession on behalf of the people, highlighting the importance of communion and worship in their daily lives. Finally, beyond a thick, ornate veil, lay the most holy place, or the Holy of Holies. This was the innermost sanctuary, the very heart of the tabernacle, into which only the high priest could enter, and only once a year on the Day of Atonement. This extreme restriction underscored the absolute holiness of God and the profound separation between Him and sinful humanity. Within the most holy place rested the Ark of the Covenant, the most sacred object in all of Israel. Fashioned from acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold, it was God's earthly throne, a visible emblem of His divine presence. Inside were the tablets of the 10 Commandments, Aaron's budding staff, and a pot of manna, representing God's law, His authority, and His provision. Covering the ark was the mercy seat, an intricately crafted solid gold slab flanked by 2 golden cherubim with outstretched wings. It was upon this mercy seat that the high priest would sprinkle the blood of the atoning sacrifice on the Day of Atonement, an act of propitiation that symbolically covered the sins of the entire nation for another year. This profound ritual demonstrated God's justice and His mercy, revealing that atonement was possible only through a divinely appointed sacrifice. Every material used in the tabernacle carried significant meaning. Gold, the most precious metal, symbolized divinity, purity, and glory, reflecting God's inherent nature. Silver, used for the sockets holding the courtyard pillars, represented redemption, often associated with the price paid for a life or the atonement money collected from the Israelites. Bronze, robust and durable, was used for the altar and laver in the outer court, symbolizing judgment and the capacity to endure divine wrath. Acacia wood, a resilient and decay-resistant timber found in the desert, was used for the framework and furniture, representing humanity. Its combination with precious metals spoke of the divine-human connection, the enduring nature of God's plan, even amidst the harsh realities of human existence. The fabrics, too, were rich with symbolism. Blue yarn, woven into the curtains, symbolized the heavens and God's divine nature, reminding the Israelites of His celestial origin. Purple yarn, a color associated with royalty and wealth, signified God's sovereignty as King of the universe. Scarlet yarn, vibrant and striking, represented sacrifice, life, and the blood of atonement, a constant visual cue to the cost of sin and the path to forgiveness. Fine linen, pure white and meticulously woven, symbolized righteousness and purity, the clean garments required for approaching a holy God. Even the animal skins that formed the outermost coverings of the tabernacle held meaning. The ram skins dyed red spoke of sacrifice, while the badger skins, tough and waterproof, provided protection, symbolizing God's sheltering presence over His people. Each detail, from the precious metals to the humble skins, contributed to a comprehensive visual theology, an elaborate object lesson for a people learning to walk with God. The role of the priests, particularly the high priest, was central to the tabernacle's function. They were the appointed mediators, bridging the gap between a holy God and a sinful people. Their vestments, adorned with precious stones representing the 12 tribes, emphasized their representative role, carrying the names of Israel into God's presence. Their daily tasks were not mere rituals, but vital acts of worship and intercession, ensuring the continuous flow of grace and forgiveness. The daily sacrifices and the annual Day of Atonement were not arbitrary religious observances. They were profound expressions of the human condition and God's merciful provision. Each animal slain, each drop of blood sprinkled, was a stark reminder of the gravity of sin and the absolute justice of God. Yet it was also a testament to His unwavering love, providing a way for His people to find reconciliation and maintain fellowship with Him. The weight of human imperfection was heavy, but God's grace, mediated through these rituals, was always sufficient. For the Israelites, the tabernacle was more than just a place of worship. It was the very center of their national life. Their entire camp was organized around it, with the tribes encamped in specific formations, always facing the sanctuary. This physical arrangement underscored a spiritual truth. God was at the heart of their existence, the focal point of their identity and purpose. Every time they broke camp and moved, the tabernacle was carefully dismantled and carried ahead, a constant visible sign of God's leadership and presence throughout their journey. The meticulous design of this portable sanctuary, with its layers of symbolism, served as a profound experiential guide for the wandering Israelites. It cultivated in them an understanding of God's holiness, the seriousness of sin, and the necessity of atonement. They didn't just understand these concepts intellectually, they experienced them through sight, sound, and ritual, creating a deep, visceral connection to their faith. The tabernacle was a dynamic, living lesson, constantly teaching them about the nature of their God and His plan for their redemption. Crucially, the tabernacle and its intricate rituals were not an end in themselves, but a magnificent foreshadowing, a physical shadow cast by a greater spiritual reality yet to come. Every sacrifice, every priestly act, every piece of furniture pointed forward to Jesus Christ. He is the ultimate fulfillment of all the tabernacle's profound symbolism, the one who brings the deep symbolism of this major biblical object to its glorious conclusion. Jesus is the true tabernacle, the very dwelling place of God among humanity, as the Gospel of John declares that the Word became flesh and tabernacled among us. He is the perfect, once-for-all sacrifice, fulfilling the purpose of the brazen altar. His shed blood on the cross was the ultimate atonement, rendering all subsequent animal sacrifices unnecessary. He is our great high priest, who entered the heavenly Holy of Holies not with the blood of animals, but with His own precious blood, securing eternal redemption for all who believe. He is the light of the world, represented by the menorah illuminating the path to truth and life. He is the bread of life, the true sustenance for our souls, far surpassing the showbread on the table. He is the one through whom our prayers ascend to God, the perfect mediator, the fragrant incense before the divine throne. The Ark of the Covenant, God's earthly throne, finds its ultimate reality in Christ, the very presence of God embodied. When Jesus died on the cross, the thick veil in the temple, which separated the holy place from the most holy place, was torn from top to bottom. This dramatic event symbolized the tearing down of the barrier between God and humanity, signifying that through Christ's sacrifice, direct access to God's presence was now available to all. No longer confined to a tent in the desert or a temple in Jerusalem, God's dwelling place expanded to encompass all believers, who now become His spiritual temple. The tabernacle, that ancient tent in the desert, was therefore far more than a mere construction manual. It was a divine curriculum, a tangible blueprint of God's plan of salvation. It meticulously laid out the profound truth that God desires to dwell with His people, but that this communion requires atonement and purification. Its intricate design, with every material and ritual laden with meaning, served as a powerful visual aid, preparing a nomadic people for the ultimate revelation of God's love. The shift from a physical tent to a spiritual indwelling changed everything. The meticulous external rituals and structures gave way to an internal, personal relationship with the divine. The tabernacle's enduring legacy is not just a historical curiosity, but a profound testament to God's consistent character, His holiness, His justice, and His boundless mercy. It unpacks the deep symbolism of His relentless pursuit of humanity, culminating in the ultimate sacrifice that bridged the chasm of sin. This ancient desert sanctuary, with its golden glory and humble coverings, ultimately reveals the heart of a God who sought to make a way for His people to truly know Him.